Hello, this is Pastor Rick, and I want to welcome you to this special Table Talk edition of the Sunday Forum for All Saints' Day, November the 5th. This is a wonderful celebration that I knew as a child, but I really grew to appreciate when I was a pastor in Germany. Our cemetery for the church was right next to the sanctuary, and on All Saints' Day, boy, everybody would go out to the family grave because everyone had someone buried in that cemetery. And they would tend to the graves. Beautiful flowers were planted the day before, so when we went on All Saints' Days, it was gorgeous, and candles were lit, and it was a big deal. And it was not just us, the Lutherans, but also the Catholics would go there as well and celebrate All Saints together with us. Because here is a celebration that Catholics and Lutherans share, All Saints' Day. And we share it the same way. For example, often reading the names of those who have deceased that year in the worship service, but also the reading of Matthew 5, the Beatitudes from the Sermon on the Mount. This goes back, 1500 years to Pope Gregory III. He was the Pope from 731 to 741, and he built an oratory in Old St. Peter's Cathedral, and he built it to recognize all the saints, all the martyrs of the church, and then all saints. So it was a very special gift to the church, a new liturgy, and he changed it from the old practice of celebrating All Saints in May. He moved it to November 1, in particular because of the Irish and all their traditions of Soyam, all the craziness that we know as Halloween practices, and he thought maybe by baptizing this ritual and bringing it to November 1, he could squelch what the Irish Catholics were using. And of course, as we know, it worked and it didn't work. And so now we want to see and watch a short 3-minute video that relays some of the history behind All Saints' Day. Let's watch it now.
All Saints' Day is celebrated on November the 1st as a commemoration day for all Christian saints. It may also be known as All Hallows' Day, Solemnity of All Saints, Hallowmas, or Feast of Saints. Though not as well known as Christmas and Easter, it is still a major Christian festival. It is a public holiday in 50 countries around the world. Let's take a look at the history behind All Saints' Day. The idea of an All Saints' Day may date back to a Greek Christian tradition in the 4th century, when a festival was held to honour saints and martyrs on the Sunday following Pentecost. The first recorded All Saints' Day occurred on May the 13th, 609 AD, when Pope Boniface IV accepted the Pantheon in Rome as a gift from Emperor Phocas. The Pope dedicated the day as a holiday to honour the Blessed Virgin and all martyrs. In 835 AD, during the reign of Pope Gregory III, the festival was moved to November the 1st. It was expanded to include the honouring of all saints, including those whose sainthood is only known to God. It is likely that November the 1st was intentionally chosen to replace the pagan Feast of the Dead, Samhain. The night before Samhain was said to be a time when evil spirits roamed the land looking for humans. To confuse the spirits, people would dress up as creatures. This tradition carried on after November the 1st became a Christian festival. It was known as Halloween, which is a shortened version of All Hallows' Eve. The day survived the Reformation, though the Protestants combined it with All Souls' Day, which is on November the 2nd. In Mexico, All Souls' Day was used to replace older Aztec customs and became the Day of the Dead. All Saints' Day was abolished as a church festival in 1770, but it is still celebrated by many churches on the first Sunday in November. In Roman Catholicism, All Saints' Day is a holy day of obligation. This means Catholics must go to Mass unless there is a good reason not to attend. The holiday is typically observed with the reading of the Beatitudes, 8 blessings given in Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, as recounted in the Gospel of Matthew. In recent years, it has become common in many churches to commemorate those who died during the year on this day. And it is a tradition in many countries to visit the graves of deceased relatives and put flowers and candles on the graves.
So now that we've reviewed some of the history of All Saints' Day, part of our practice here at Emmanuel is to read the Beatitudes from Matthew 5, but also to list out and name those in our congregation who have died this year. And so please have a moment of silence in your homes as you're watching the video, as again I review those names again of members of Emmanuel who have died this year. George Stein, Rose Marie Myers, William Seedfeld, Don Brown, Dolly Scott, James Geist, Ellen Wolfe, Carol Waters, Dick Kozitka, Mary Semsel, Victoria Camillo, Stephen Finch, Arland Waters, Donald Schuler, Donald Henneman, K.C. Stock, Richard Scherer, and Roy Wolfe. May God grant them peace, and may God grant us peace as we remember their witness to us about Jesus and his resurrection. Thanks for joining us on this special edition of Table Talks for the Sunday Forum for All Saints' Day. Bye-bye now.